Okay, we'll continue on among the nations. We're going to look at Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. Good chapter we'll go through. It's part of the law. Deuteronomy 30 and 1. It shall come to pass, and all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse. He told us in Deuteronomy 28, first chapter, third verse, the blessings that's going to befall us. He told us in verse 15 that we need to listen to his law, statutes, commandments, and do them. All these curses going to befall us. That's from 16 to 68. So I said the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations. It's like we are among the nations now, as the Israelites. Whither the Most High thy power have driven thee, and shall return unto the Most High thy power. When we are among these nations, like we are now, returning back to the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with thine heart, thou shalt mind, and with all thy soul, all thy spirit, that then the Most High thy power will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Most High thy power, your power, hath scattered thee. See? If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, which is this earth, from thence will the Most High thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. He's going to get us no matter where we at in this earth. The Most High thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. You have a lot of children. The Most High thy power will circumcise thine heart. He will circumcise our mind, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Most High thy power with all thine heart, with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And the Most High thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. It's the future. Thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Most High, and do all his commandments. You're not getting away with it. You see it. We're going to return and obey the voice of the Most High and do all his commandments. That's his laws, which I command thee this day. The Most High thy power will make thee plenteous in every work of thy hand, in the fruit of thy body, in the fruit of thy cattle, in the fruit of thy land, for good. The Most High will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which are written in this book of the law, if thou turn unto the Most High thy power with all thine heart, with all thy soul. This commandment, which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very nigh unto thee, right here in front of your eyes. All you that have Deuteronomy 30th chapter open, you should if you're listening. You should have your Bibles out, your King James 611 Bible, Authorized Bible out, and looking at these words for yourself. But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thine heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. Hear that? So I say you got a choice to choose life or death. You said life and good, and death and evil. In that I command thee this day to love the Most High thy power, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments, and his statutes, and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Most High thy power shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But, that's a condition. If, is another condition, thine heart, your mind turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, like the other nations. All the gods of the nations are idols. Serve them. I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. We didn't follow him, so he kicked us out the land. I call heaven and earth to record, to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death. Hear that? He set before us life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. So he told us to choose life, that we and our children would live. That thou mayest love the Most High thy power, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which the Most High sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. See? Most High swore to give us that land. He swore to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, who was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. So he said, if we come out to his laws among these nations that he scatters in, he's going to bless us. Joshua 23 and 6. Joshua 23 and 6. Joshua and Caleb are the only two. Joshua and Caleb are the only two that led us out of the wilderness. They're the only ones. Only adults. Just a moment. So we had Joshua 23 and verse 6. Joshua 23 and verse 6. Joshua 23 and verse 6. Be ye therefore very courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, that ye turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left. Make sure that you keep these commandments, he's saying. That ye come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods. See, neither make mention of the names of their gods, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor bow yourselves unto them, but cleave unto the Most High your power, as ye have done unto this day. For the Most High have driven out from before you great nations and strong. But as for you, no man has been able to stand before you to this day, because the Most High was fighting for us. One man of you shall chase 1,000. Hear this? One man of you shall chase 1,000. But the Most High your power, he it is that fighteth for you. See? As he hath promised you. So one man gonna chase 1,000 men. That's the power of the Most High. Take good heed, therefore, unto yourselves, that ye love the Most High your power. Else, if you do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, know for certainty. You say, know for sure, most certainly, that the Most High your power will no more drive out any of these nations from before you. So the Most High with the integration, interracial marriages and so forth, integration, and marrying other nations' wives and their sons. That's why he gave everybody their woman to be with, to procreate, to create their nation. Know for certainty, that's what he said, know for certainty, that the Most High your power will no more drive out any of these nations from before you. But they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from off this good land which the Most High your power hath given you. See? That happened to us. That's exactly what happened to us. Why? Because we want to follow some other way. He tells us in Psalm 106 and 35, that's what we did. Just what he told us not to do. Psalms 106, 35. But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, or among the nations as we're looking at now. And we'll cover this when we go among the heathen again, and learn their works. When Most High said in Jeremiah 10 and 2, well, he's telling us what we just heard, learn not the way of the heathen. Learn their works, and they serve their idols, or their gods. Because all the gods of the nations are idols. Psalms 96 and 5. Which were a snare unto them, a trap. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan. The land was polluted with blood. Thus were they defiled with their own works, and went a-whoring with their own inventions. Therefore was the wrath of the Most High kindled against his people, insomuch that he abhorred his own inheritance. And he gave them into the hands of the heathen, these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. And they that hated them ruled over them. See, these nations don't love us. They that hated us ruled over us. 1 Chronicles 16 to 23. 1 Chronicles 16 to 23. 1 Chronicles 16, 23. Sing unto the Most High, all the earth. Show forth from day to day his salvation. Declare his glory among the heathen, his marvelous works among all nations. See, supposed to be exalting the Most High. His name is jealous for everything, among the heathen, among the nations. See, for great is the Most High, and greatly to be praised. He also is to be feared above all gods. Hear that? Most High, our power, Yahweh, is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the people are idols. See that? But the Most High made the heavens. They worship the heavens. The things, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all that. But we worship the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Glory and honor are in his presence. Strength and gladness are in his place. Give unto the Most High, ye kindreds of the people. Give unto the Most High glory and strength. Give unto the Most High the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Worship the Most High in the beauty of holiness. Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable at a standstill, that it be not moved. Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice, and let men say among the nations, the Most High reigneth. See? Let men say among the nations, the Most High reigneth. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. Let the fields rejoice, and all that is therein. Then shall the trees of the wood sing out at the presence of the Most High, because he cometh to judge the world, the earth, man. He coming to judge this earth with fire, brimstone, and destruction, and righteousness. to set righteousness up on this earth. Oh, give thanks unto the Most High, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. Hallelujah. His mercy endureth forever. He will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel and set us in our own land. Look at 2 Chronicles 7. 2 Chronicles 7 and 19. Second Chronicles 7 and 19. But if you turn away, forsake my statutes and my commandments, which I have set before you, and shall go and serve other gods, and worship them, where? Among the nations. And serve their gods when we are among these nations. Then will I pluck them up out of roots out of my land, which I have given them. And this house, which I have sanctified for my name, will I cast out of my sight, and will make it to be a proverb and a byword among all nations. See that? The house Solomon built. So make it be a proverb and a byword among all nations. And this house, which is high, shall be an astonishment to every one that passeth by it, so that he shall say, why has the Most High done thus unto this land, and to this house? It shall be answered, because they forsook the Most High power of their fathers, which brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, and laid hold on other gods, and worshipped them, and served them. Therefore hath he brought all this evil upon them, because we didn't follow the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. All the evil came upon us, so now you think he's going to release the evil that's upon us? All you out there that don't believe you got to follow the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, you got a lot to look forward to. You say, Most High told Moses, tell him what? Choose what? Life or good, or death or evil. That's the choices you have. 2 Chronicles, 32nd chapter. Among the nations. 2 Chronicles 32. And we're going to start at verse 14. 14. Second Chronicles 32 and 14. Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand? That your God should be able to deliver you out of mine hand. That's our power. I'm going to read it again. Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand? That your God should be able to deliver you out of mine hand? Now therefore, let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this matter. Neither yet believe him. For no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand. It's bragging. Like, ain't nobody gonna be able to get you out of his hand and out of the hand of my fathers. How much less shall your God deliver you out of mine hand? Uh-oh. Messing with the Most High. And his servants spake yet more against the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and against his servant Hezekiah. He wrote also letters to rail on the Most High power of Israel, and to speak against him, saying, as the gods of the nations of other lands have not delivered their people out of mine hand, so shall not the God of Hezekiah deliver his people out of mine hand. Remember, all the gods of the nations are idols to this day. But we got the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Supreme powers, Most High. Then they cried with a loud voice in the Jews' speech, in Hebrew, unto the people of Jerusalem that were on the wall to affright them and to trouble them, that they might take the city. And they spake against the Most High power of Jerusalem, as against the gods of the people of the earth, which were the work of the hands of man, idolatry, the idols of the nations. And for this cause Hezekiah the king and the prophet Isaiah the son of Amoz prayed and cried to heaven. See, we pray and cry to the Most High, we get results. The humility. The Most High sent an angel. Listen, the Most High sent an angel. Ain't no different now than it was then. The Most High sent an angel which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with the shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword. His own children killed him. When he came before his God, they killed him. Thus the Most High saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all others, and guided them on every side. See? And many brought gifts unto the Most High to Jerusalem, and presents to Hezekiah, king of Judah, so that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from thenceforth. From that point on, he was magnified. The Most High stepped in there and sent that angel. You know that angel is called a destroyer. Mashiach Yahushai. As an angel, he's called a destroyer. So he already know how to destroy. He already said he didn't come back as a man. But you know, that's a mystery. So something that you might not know. But he said it in Isaiah 47:3. He's called a destroyer. He already is a destroyer. We're reading about it. Look at Second Chronicles, jump up to verse 9. So you get to see. You see, after this did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, send his servants to Jerusalem, but he himself laid siege against Lachish and all his power with him, unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, and unto all Judah that were at Jerusalem, saying, Thus said Sennacherib, king of Assyria, whereon do ye trust that ye able in the siege in Jerusalem? We already know the result. Does not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying, The Most High our power shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Has not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Judah and Jerusalem, saying, Ye shall worship before one altar, and burn incense upon it? Know ye not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands? Were the gods of the nations of those lands any ways able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, and could deliver his people out of mine hand, that your God should be able to deliver you out of mine hand? Oh yeah? Well, verse 21, And the Most High sent an angel, which cut off all the mighty men of valor, and the leaders and the captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shamefaced to his own land, and when he was come into the house of his God, his idol, they that came forth of his own bowels slew him there with the sword, killed him. That's our power. Mess around with the Most High, and we're going to just what happened to him. Nehemiah, first chapter. Nehemiah, first chapter. Which one? words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakshaliah. And it came to pass in the month Chislev, in the 12th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah. And I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem in captivity. And they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity, there is the province, are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. It came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, and mourned certain days, and fasted and prayed before the Most High of heaven. So made him cry. He was crying to the Most High, praying to the Most High, and said, I beseech thee, O Most High power of heaven, the great and terrible power, that keepeth covenant, that mercy for them that love him, and observe his commandments. Hear that over and over again. You got to keep these commandments. Let thine ear now be attentive, and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which thou commanded thy servant Moses. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commanded thy servant Moses, saying, if you transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. But if you turn unto me, keep my commandments, and keep my commandments, and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the utmost part of the heaven, that's the earth, though we're cast out to the utmost part of the earth, the heaven, yet will I gather them from thence. He will gather us from wherever he scattered us into these lands, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy power, thy great power, Salakia, and by thy strong hand. And O Most High, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant, and to the prayer of thy servants, who desire to fear thy name and prosper. I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man. For I was the king's cupbearer. He was the king's cupbearer in captivity. Nehemiah 2. And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes, the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. I had not been before time sad in his presence, never been before him sad. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad? Why are you sad? Seeing thou art not sick, you're not sick, why are you sad? This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very so afraid. He became afraid before the king. You see, became afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my conscience be sad, when the city, the place of my father's scepters, lie waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? So they burned down the city. The gates that have burned down. Then the king said unto me, well, what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the Most High power of heaven. And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me into Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchre, that I may build it. The king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be? And when wilt thou return? So it pleased the king to send me. And I set him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Judah. In a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forge, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which appertaineth to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me, according to the good hand of my power upon me. So he's able to get to timber, start building, once he got there. Then I came to the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent captains of the army, and the horsemen with me. When Sanballat, the Horonite, the Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, heard of it, it grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what my power had put in my heart or his mind to do at Jerusalem. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. And I went out by night by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon. Well, and to the dung port. I stood where you do number 2. It's all put there. Crap goes there. And viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went on to the gate of the fountain, and to the king's pool. But there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. He couldn't get through it. Then went I up in the night by the brook, and viewed the wall, and turned back, and entered by the gate of the valley, and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went, or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, you see the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more a reproach, a disgrace. Let's build up this wall so you won't be a disgrace. Then I told them of the hand of my power, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he has spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, and Gershom, the Arabian, heard it, they laughed us to scorn, despised us, and said, what is this thing that ye do? What you doing? Will ye rebel against the king? And answered I them, and said unto them, power of heaven, he will prosper. He will prosper us. Therefore we his servants will arise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. So hey, they have nothing to do with this. Nothing to do with this. To show you how the other nations couldn't, have anything to do with building Most High's temple. He wouldn't even let King David build a house or a temple for him because he said he had too much blood on his hands. King David. See, David was a man after his own heart. So hey man, you a warrior, man. You can't do it. You let Solomon do it. Right. Nehemiah 13. Nehemiah 13. You can read verse 1 and 2 on that. Nehemiah 13 and 1. On that day, they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of the Most High forever. You hear that? They should not come into the congregation of the Most High forever. That was written in the book of the law of the Most High. Deuteronomy 23, I believe. Yeah. Deuteronomy 23. Law of Moses. 23, 3. Yeah. Deuteronomy 23 and 3. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Most High, even to the 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Most High forever. See? So you read. This is why. Because they met you not with bread and with water in the way when you came forth out of Egypt, and because they hired against thee Balaam, the son of Beor, of Bethor, of Mesopotamia, to curse thee. So once I say Ammonite and the Moabite, which is the indigenous Chinese, I'll say Japanese, Ammonite, and Moabite, Chinese, they come to the congregation forever. Verse 2 of Nehemiah 13. Because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our power turned the curse into a blessing. See? So, look at verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, Hebrew, but according to the language of each people. They speak Ashdod language, or Ammon language, or Moab language. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and killed certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by the Most High, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his father, Most High. And the Most High made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause the sin of these other nations. Shall we then hearken to you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our power in marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Joadah, son of Eliashim, the high priest, was son-in-law to Sabala, the Horonite. Therefore I chased him from me. Remember them, O my power, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. Thus cleansed I them from all strangers, and appointed the wards of the priests and the Levites every one in his business, and for the good offering at times appointed, and for the first fruits. Remember me, O my power, for good. That's what the law says. Deuteronomy 7 and 3. Deuteronomy 7 and 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. This is why. For they will turn away thy son from following me. Just like King Solomon, he made those strange women, these women of different nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, that they may serve other gods. Because remember, all the gods of the nations are idols. That's what they know. They're going to bring their gods. Just like, who's that? Rachel. She stole Laban's gods. He was a Syrian. Stole his gods. See what the Most High did? He allowed her to have get pregnant and have babies, 2 babies, but then what happened? She died in childbirth with Benjamin. Joseph and Benjamin. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. Rachel, she stole Laban's gods. He came looking for him. She was sitting on him when she was on her cycle. Somebody tell her, no, she wasn't on a cycle. She made that lie. She said, I'm on my cycle. She was sitting on the, like they have a certain pillow place that they sleep when you're on their cycle. And she had a head underneath the pillow. Big old pillow that she was sitting on. All his gods. Almost got Jacob wiped out. Psalms 22 and 22. Among these nations. Psalms 22, 22. I will declare thy name unto my brethren. In the midst of the congregation will I praise thee. See? Ye that fear the Most High, praise him. All ye the seed of Jacob. Glorify him and fear him, all ye seed of Israel. For he hath not despised nor abhorred. For he hath not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted. Neither hath he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. See? Heard from where? It must be among these heathen, among these nations, among the Gentiles. We cried to him, he heard. And he sent a deliverer. He's going to send a deliverer to us. My praise shall be of thee in the great congregation. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied. They shall praise the Most High that seek him. Your heart shall live forever. All the ends of the world where we are now shall remember and turn unto the Most High as we do now. And all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before thee. For the kingdom is the Most High's, and he is the governor among the nations. He rules in the kingdom of the nations. All they that be fat upon earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Most High for a generation. Hopefully it's our generation. We don't know. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness as his laws. That's the commandment. Deuteronomy 6:25. Unto a people that shall be born, that he have done this, that the Most High has done this. So here we are now, coming back to his laws, statutes, and commandments. It wasn't in the 50s, the 60s, or the 70s, or the 80s, or the 90s as it is now. I mean, you can see progressively how the Most High has this truth coming across airways and in person, that people are learning to follow the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments, and how to be an Israelite and follow the culture that is set before us, and his laws, statutes, and commandments, his rules and regulations, and have faith in the Mashiach El-Shai. Now we go to Psalms 57 and 7. Psalms 57 and 7. My heart is fixed, O Most High. My heart is fixed. I will sing and give praise. Awake up, my glory, awake, psaltery and harp, music. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Most High, among the people. See? I will sing unto thee among the nations. For thy mercy is great unto the heavens, and thy truth unto the clouds. Be thou exalted, O Most High, above the heavens. Let thy glory be above all the earth. Well, Yah. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And we are, bringing forth this truth among the nations. Psalms, and exalting the Most High, because he's worthy to be exalted. Psalms 67 and 2. I'll start at verse 1. Psalm 67, 1 and 2. The Most High be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us. Selah. That thy way may be known upon earth. That the way of the Most High may be known upon the earth. His laws, such commandments. Thy saving health among all nations. Let the people praise thee, O Most High. Let all the people praise thee. Let the nations be glad and sing for joy. Thou shalt judge the people righteously, and govern the nations upon earth. Get up. Let the people praise thee, O Most High. Let all the people praise thee. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and the Most High, even our own power, shall bless us. The Most High shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. You know? We the ends of the earth here. You're gonna make sure that you fear him. You be afraid of him. You might not be afraid of him now, but when he do what he's gonna do, all the ends of the earth gonna fear him. He's gonna bless us, those that keep his commandments, keep his laws, his rules and regulations. Psalms 106 and 19. These are beautiful songs. Psalms 106 and 19. They made a calf in the Horeb and worshiped the molten image. Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass. Should have been praising the Most High. Made a dang on calf. They forgot the Most High, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, all of the 10 plagues. Forgot all about it. Just like they never existed. That's how Israel is. That's why certain things happen. You see Israel, our people, they forget all about it. Just like it never happened. Verse 21. For they forget the Most High their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt. Wondrous works in the land of Ham. So you know, so-called Africa is really the land of Ham. And terrible things by the Red Sea. He drowned all Pharaoh chariots, Pharaoh and his chariots and his armies in the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them. Had not Moses, his chosen, stood before him in the breach to turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them? Yeah, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word. We have the best land in the world. That's why they're fighting over our land right now in Israel. But murmured in their tents, and hearkened not unto the voice of the Most High. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations. See? We're among these nations. He overthrew us, killed us among these nations. The children that we had. Because remember, it wasn't nobody but Joshua and Caleb as adults that made it out of the wilderness. He took the children. He said, to overthrow their seed, which the children also among the nations, and to scatter them in the lands. They join themselves into that idol, and are the sacrifices of the dead, and ate the sacrifices of the dead. Salaki. Thus they provoked him to anger with their inventions, and the plague break in upon them. See, when you're dealing with idolatry, things that's contrary to the Most High's word, hey, you bring plagues upon you. Plagues, diseases, and so forth. Then stood up Phinehas and executed judgment. And so the plague was stayed. Stopped it. This time, I mean, you can imagine all these people going through this plagues that he put upon us, and that was counted unto him for righteousness, unto all generations forever. That's evermore. That's why we read about it now. They angered him also at the waters of strife, so that it went ill with Moses for their sakes. Got on Moses' nerve. Moses said, through Mashiach Shai, he said, hey, speak to the rock. You bring my water for it. He hit the rock twice. Still about the water for it, but that's why I said it went ill with Moses, because of that. Because they provoked his spirit. So you gotta watch your spirit. So that he spake unadvisedly with his lips. You know? You get on my nerve, I gotta hit this rock, bam, hit the rock, he told him to speak to the rock. Bring forth the Most High's water and give glory to the Most High. So you gotta praise the Most High for everything. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Most High commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen, and learned their works, and they served their idols, which was a snare unto them. He told us, we done read it. We going back over it again. We started this lesson with that. You're going to scatter us one of these days, we're going to serve wood and stone. Oh yeah. Here we are, until this day. We learned their works. That's why we're looking at Gentiles, but our people are Gentiles. Learning their works, doing the things that they bring upon us in the ghettos and slums. You know, drugs and guns and all the things that we have, we got them from our oppressor. See, we ain't flying no drugs over the borders of America. Come on. They can't even, they try to stop the Mexicans from coming over the border. They got a tight grip on that. You see what I'm saying? So how is it that we flying drugs from Colombia to here? We're not doing that. It's only food. It says, and were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them, a trap. Yeah, they sacrificed their sons and their daughters unto devils. Listen, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and of their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood.